Hello, this is Erin Fisher, Technology Integration Facilitator for the East Bridgewater Public Schools, and this is an overview of a rather large project that includes Google Apps Script, ChatGPT, and a variety of Google tools. So let's go first to the product that we wanted. We wanted individualized student curriculum accommodation plans, otherwise known as ICAPs, that we develop from our district-wide DCAP through the child study process. So it's important first to see what our child study process looks like. This is our flow chart, and you'll notice that it starts with a referral from a team of teachers or parent, and we first implement DCAP accommodations, and if those work, then we're all set. If they work and we know that we need to indicate that we are using specific accommodations for that student that really are crucial for that student's success, then we do want to make an ICAP. And that is where you can see here in the flow chart. So it's important first that you can see our DCAP. This is our DCAP at a glance document. It does link out to a larger document that goes into more explanation, but this has been developed by our team and has quite a few accommodations that is available to all learners in our school system. They do not need to be on a specific plan to have any of these accommodations. And these are suggestions for teachers to implement in instruction. And of course, if you're implementing one with a specific student and it is consistent and that student really needs that accommodation to be successful, but is making academic progress, then we would have that in an ICAP. So let's say we are going to develop that ICAP through the child study process. We have developed a Google form. So the team would go through their meeting and they would fill out this Google form. Sometimes an ICAP is developed as a result of a IEP meeting where the student does not qualify for services, which is why I asked if they went through the CST process. At times, a student is referred for testing and not going through CST, but an ICAP is still developed, and that's why that question is there. Once an ICAP is created for the student, and you'll see no is here, at times they'll go through the child study process and they are found not to need an ICAP, but if they are, they would indicate yes. And then they would go through and they would check off this information: ICAP meeting date, referring teacher, background, a little blurb on the student if you'd like to include it, and then all of our accommodations that are on the DCAP with the option of other if there's something else that would like to be written in, and this would get filled out. From there, as we know, Google Forms populate to Google Sheets, and here is where the magic begins. These are all test students through my colleagues that have given me permission. We've tested some here with names of adults in the building. So you can see that that is not revealing any student information, but we tested this out. And here is the information. Now notice when it goes in through a Google form with checkboxes, it separates with commas. That's going to be important when I show you the app script that was run. Also notice it pushes the file out every column. It also inputs the file into the sheet, which is really nice. And that will be important as you see the app script. So here is where ChatGPT comes in. I did write a script of what I wanted this to do. I wanted the information from this spreadsheet to populate into this template. This is the individualized curriculum accommodation plan we plan to use, ICAP. And this is the information I wanted to populate in. I did want it to go in as bullets on this list. It does not go in as bullets on the sheet. So I did go into extensions and app script. And you will notice I have app script written here. Now I am not a computer programmer and I don't know how to write app script, but I did know what I wanted my job to do. I do have experience with tags and mail merges, so I did understand how tags and templates work. So I would recommend having a knowledge of that if you hope to accomplish this type of project. These are what I mean by tags. Tags are these brackets, sometimes you use carets, that indicate what information you want to come in. And very important to note, all headers that are in your form that go to your sheet which are here. They are the header is the question, really, the question name. Very important that there's no white space or trailing spaces. Otherwise, you're going to need another code line to get rid of that white space from form to sheet. So you do want to make sure every time that you're working out of a sheet that this is not trailing white space. So now I don't know how to write this code, but I know what I want it to do. I know what I want that sheet to do. So where do I turn to help me write the app script? Well, ChatGPT, of course. So let's take a look at my job. Now, it's very important when you are working with an AI tool of your choice that you are very specific in what you want this to do. And you can see I've been working on this over 2 days. It's the same job. And so we'll go to today because I put in my most recent fix that I needed. And you'll notice I put in right up here, this is my prompt that I started with. I need help writing the script. I'm going to describe what I'm doing in detail. I want you to tell me how to write the script on the sheet to do what I want it to do. Before telling you, I did have a question about shared drives. So you'll notice it tells me, yes, it's going to work in a shared drive. Very important because I wanted the files to populate in folders in a shared Google Drive. So it tells me what I need to consider, some things here. So it tells me once you describe your project, I can help you write the script. Okay, I described the project that I've told you. Google form, to a sheet, to a doc template with tags. I want the export to work on a form trigger to populate the template from the sheet, and I wanted it to go into specific named folders. And it tells me, great, this is an automation. I'll build the script. Now ChatGPT tells me what it needs to build the script. It tells me it needs all of this information. I don't need to go through this information with you. If you have a script, it will tell you what you need. So I went and copied this into a Google Doc. At first I didn't, and it got cut off. And then I went and pasted everything I needed. So I worked on it in a Google Doc, filling in what it told me it needed. It needed folder IDs from Google Drive. It needed the exact tags. It needed me to name out those tags. It needed the ID template, which is the shared link, this part on the ID of the template I was using. So ChatGPT, to write that script, needed all of that. You can see these are my folder IDs. This is my parent folder ID. This is my Google template ID. Here's all my tags in the script. I put all of that information in. It asked me some great questions of options that I hadn't thought of. Did it want me to convert it to a PDF? Yes. Yes, I do want that. Did it want me to paste the link? Did it want to paste the link back into the spreadsheet? What a great idea. I didn't think of that. Yes, I did want that. So then it gives me all of this information and it gave me the script. This was wonderful because I could just hit the copy button and now go paste it right into here. And then I would save it and then I would test it out, which is what I did. And wouldn't you know, of course, there's certain things that I didn't think of and it didn't go correctly. So here this goes in. It even gives me the very specific directions of how to set it up. This was great, very clear. Tells me some extras if I want to add it. Now I notice, wait a minute, you didn't tell me how you're going to title the PDFs. This gives me some lines to fix if I want it titled specifically. I even told it how to title it. How will they be titled? I went down and I said how I wanted it to be titled. Can you add the name and YOG to the title? Yep, gives me that. Now tells me what lines in the script to update. Then gives me the revised whole thing if I want to just wipe it out. I even said I couldn't find the PDF naming line. It told me to go and rename it. Couldn't find it. Told me where to find it. Okay, I keep going. So this is a back and forth between me and ChatGPT. We go back and forth quite a few times of everything I want to fix. So I told it there was 3 headers. I didn't know there was white space. Why weren't those pulling in? It told me there was a space before the closing bracket. So we did a lot of fixes back and forth. We even fixed putting the PDF link into column P. I had it write script because you'll notice it kept going over. And now it only puts it in column P, which is great. And that really, this back and forth and me working with ChatGPT as a thought partner really is what got this to work. And now it is fully working. It is also putting the files in the respective folders as it merges, with the year of graduation being the trigger on that. You can see this is rather long. I will share this ChatGPT job in the link of this video if you care to read it through it. I go through any of the errors I had. There was a time one of the merges didn't work. I actually put that in there to see why. And it just is a back and forth. And I have this saved in my ChatGPT, and I have my app script job saved that I can refer back to. And anytime we want to modify it, we can, and go back to this code and fix the app script code. So I highly recommend using Google Apps Script, using the variety of Google tools, and using ChatGPT to help you write the code. It helps get a lot of different jobs done. So, thank you.